The shelves are empty, not because the delivery truck stopped, but because you did. You and everyone else rushed in with wild eyes and shaking hands, grabbing everything that looked like safety in a box. The world hasn't ended yet, but it already feels like it has. Subscribe to Think What If for more stories that push your imagination to the edge. It begins quietly, a news alert on your phone. A strange flu is spreading in another city. The anchor's voice trembles. A few words, unknown origin, highly contagious, possible mutation, ignite something ancient inside your brain. Before reason has time to speak, instinct grabs the wheel. You head to the store, convinced that food, water, and toilet paper will somehow build a wall between you and the invisible threat creeping closer. Why do we do this? Why does fear turn calm people into hoarders? The answer hides deep inside the oldest layers of the human mind. When survival feels uncertain, control becomes currency. You can't stop the virus, but you can fill your cart. Every can, every pack, every bottle becomes a small illusion of safety. The modern world collapses into a single primal thought: I must survive.
Get inside! Open the door faster!
You tell yourself it's logical. Everyone else is doing it. The aisles are chaotic. People shout, carts collide, security cameras catch faces twisted with panic. The hum of the fluorescent lights feels like static in your skull. The air smells like plastic, sweat, and fear. This isn't shopping, it's hunting. And like every hunt, it feeds on scarcity. The fewer the items left, the more valuable they feel. You reach for things you don't even need, just because someone else might take them first. In 2020, we saw it for real. A virus with no brain triggered mass hysteria across the planet. Not because of its strength, but because of our weakness. Toilet paper vanished faster than medicine. Pasta and hand sanitizer became gold. People built fortresses of canned soup and disinfectant, while hospitals begged for masks. Fear turned rational creatures into panicked mammals. The internet called it panic buying, but it was something deeper. It was a survival theater. You acted out safety to feel safe. Now imagine that virus had teeth. Imagine the news didn't talk about symptoms or vaccines, but about bites. Imagine a camera shaking through a hospital hallway where nurses lock themselves inside supply closets because patients are attacking the living. The footage leaks online, hashtags explode. The government calls for calm. But the moment one person uploads a shaky video of a body twitching on the street, the panic buying begins again. Only this time, there's blood on the floor. You run to the store again. You tell yourself it's just precaution. You need food, right? But this time the shelves are already half empty. The smell of bleach and fear burns your nose. Someone shoves you for the last bag of rice. Another grabs your sleeve and whispers, "They're saying it started in a lab." You laugh it off, but deep down, you wonder, could a lab really create something like this? Scientists have already found parasites that control minds. Toxoplasma gondii makes mice lose their fear of cats so it can reproduce. Cordyceps turns ants into zombies, forcing them to climb high before killing them. Viruses mutate all the time. Rabies can make mammals hyper-aggressive. Certain strains of the flu cause neurological inflammation that changes behavior. None of this is science fiction. It's biology, and it's real. In 2015, researchers experimented with gain-of-function studies, tweaking viruses to understand their potential. It was meant to protect us, but knowledge cuts both ways. What if a single mutation slipped through? What if fear wasn't the only thing spreading? You feel the weight of your cart. You filled it with chips, soda, batteries, and frozen meals. But what you actually need isn't here. You don't have medicine, clean water, or a plan. You have comfort food, not survival tools. The illusion of safety, not safety itself. You look at the others around you. Some are crying, others laughing. A man near the door wears a gas mask. A woman films on her phone, saying, "It's happening again." Again. That word sticks, because deep down you know this isn't new. Every generation faces a moment when fear outruns reason. During the Black Death, people hoarded herbs and charms. During the Cold War, families dug bunkers and stocked canned beans. During the pandemic, it was sanitizer and flour. And now, in this imagined outbreak, it's anything that promises control over chaos. The pattern never changes. The world trembles, and we reach for something to hold. But here's the twist. Panic buying doesn't just empty shelves. It accelerates collapse. When one person hoards, others go without. Society fractures. Fear spreads faster than infection. In a zombie outbreak, the dead wouldn't destroy civilization. The living would. You would. You step outside with your bags. The sky feels heavier. The sound of sirens echoes across the parking lot. A car alarm screams in the distance. A helicopter thunders low, stirring dust and dread. You clutch your supplies, realizing they might be worthless if you can't protect them. A fight breaks out near the entrance. The crowd moves like a storm. You back away, heart pounding, thinking of the next move. Where do you go now? Home? That's what everyone else will do. But home is a trap. You'll barricade yourself in, scroll through news feeds, and watch the infection crawl across the map. Every update will tighten your chest. You'll ration food, then regret not buying more. You'll blame others for taking too much, forgetting you did the same. You'll stare at your reflection and see the animal beneath the skin. Days pass. The lights flicker. The news anchors stop appearing. The panic buying becomes looting. Fear becomes violence. You hear neighbors shouting through the walls. The world outside your window glows orange with fire. You open a can of beans and think about how much time you wasted filling your cart with useless things. This is what panic really is. Not just fear of dying, but fear of losing control. We don't buy supplies, we buy a sense of power. We build walls of product around us, hoping to block out uncertainty. It's a ritual, a psychological reflex. You can't fight the unknown, but you can swipe a credit card and feel like you're doing something. Now imagine watching this unfold from above, a satellite view of a city descending into chaos. Bright dots of movement swarm supermarkets. Roads clog with traffic. Then silence. Empty streets. Human instinct on display, predictable as clockwork. What would an alien observer think? That we value paper and packaging more than preparation? The irony is cruel. Real survival isn't in what you hoard, but in what you understand. Fire, shelter, clean water, communication, calm. The people who survive aren't the ones with the biggest carts. They're the ones who stop, breathe, and think. Panic is contagious, but so is the reason. One spreads faster, but the other saves lives. You remember the phrase from before? Control becomes currency. It repeats in your head like a pulse. Control becomes currency. You wonder how much of it you actually have left. Somewhere across town, a group of researchers sits in a sealed lab. They've seen this before too. The virus under their microscope mutates faster than expected. It attaches to neural tissue, changes host behavior, and erases fear responses. The perfect parasite. The first real zombie virus. Not myth, but mechanism. They know it's already out. The power flickers. Someone screams. The security lights turn red. The news will never catch up in time. And you? You're still home, watching old videos about survival hacks, surrounded by boxes of cereal and soda cans. The sound outside is wrong now, not just sirens. Something heavier. A thud, a moan, a scrape against the door. You realize too late that the real enemy was never hunger or infection. It was panic itself. Because panic feeds the outbreak. Panic moves faster than blood. Panic builds the bridge between rumor and ruin. You look around your room. Every item you bought feels useless now. None of it can buy peace. None of it can buy sleep. You wish you had stocked courage instead of comfort. The lights blink out. The darkness breathes. What would you do now? In the end, the psychology of panic buying is the psychology of fear itself. It's the story of a creature too smart to be calm and too fragile to be patient. A creature that builds cities, satellites, and supermarkets, yet still trembles at the unknown. You, me, all of us. And when the next crisis comes, viral or undead, you'll feel it again. That rush, that hunger for control. You'll reach for the nearest shelf, convincing yourself that this time you're ready. But deep down, you'll know. The real virus was never in the blood. It was in the mind. Subscribe to Think What If for more worlds you should never forget.